Welcome to my channel. I am Corum, for those of you who don't know, and this is my extras channel. I'm known as VlogMN. To be completely honest with you guys, I was not planning on making this video. I am trying to distance myself from this type of content, and I am trying to distance myself from the person about who I'm going to be talking. I do not enjoy talking about this content, nor do I enjoy talking about the person in question. This video is one that I did not want to make because in a way, I kind of dread this, like, interacting with this person. The thing that worries me is the fact that the person in question is Dogboy. And Dogboy has insisted on bothering me every few months since our first interaction about 6 or 7 years ago. And for those of you who don't know, I've got a few videos on my vlogging channel about Dogboy. I've tried being patient, hoping that he would eventually grow bored of trying to communicate with me, and so far that hasn't happened. And at this point, I have been forced to defend myself from him. I honestly just do not know what to do anymore, as he keeps bothering me even if I ignore him. If I ignore him and block his Facebook account, he just creates a new one and continues to bother me from there. I do not know what to do anymore. I am tired of talking about this, and I'm sure that most of my loyal followers are tired of hearing about Dogboy, but there is a reason behind this video. This is a reason that I hope to cover later on in the video, even after all of the rambling that I may or may not do. And there is a point to me making this video. If you want to find out what the point of this video is, I just ask that you stick around to the end of the video. I have had several run-ins with the person who I call Dogboy. The first few encounters I had with him were when I was in the homeless shelter. And, this happened, the first few interactions happened, either in or before 2018. In fact, it was between May 2016 and August 2018. I have tried avoiding him every time he's come up to me, but somehow he manages to go out of his way to look for new and more annoying ways to come up to me and harass me. I never instigate any of the encounters with him. He always comes up to me and tries to harass me. I want nothing to do with the drama this person brings. Every time the person I've named Dogboy comes up to me, I try to walk away. Every time this person tries to contact me on Facebook, I try to ignore the messages he sends and I block him immediately. This person has an unhealthy obsession with me, and I have no reason to talk to him, especially since he has threatened me and my friends and family multiple times. He has also proven that he has the ability to follow through with those threats as well, even regardless of whether he does follow through with them or not. Now, the first encounter I had with him was when I was trying to use the microwave at the homeless shelter. I heard him coming up behind me, and I turned around to find him coming up behind me with a weapon. He had put a lock inside of a sock, and he was swinging it around. I assumed that he had been trying to sneak up behind me and hit me over the head with the lock for no reason, as I had not had an interaction with him before that. The next encounter I had was with him threatening to shoot up the entire shelter with a loaded gun. Somehow, although weapons were not allowed in that shelter, the people at the shelter didn't catch the gun or the box of ammo in what he brought with him. My third encounter with Dogboy is when I was still homeless, and I was at the library, basically just trying to use the computer. I smoked cigarettes at the time, and I had stepped outside of the library to have a smoke. Dogboy comes up to me, threatening me and trying to harass at me. I flinch at him. He overreacts at me, and then tries to jump out of the way before he runs away. And I want to repeat, every interaction I've had with him was instigated by him. Every time he came up to me, I have told him to leave me alone. I do not want to interact with him, yet he always seems to think we're best friends. Every time he comes up to me, he threatens me. The only other somewhat recent interaction I've had with Dogboy that I can remember is he followed me off of one of the city buses and started harassing me and Eric. At that point, he hadn't bothered me for a while, and I was just surprised to see him. I did not talk to him on the bus, as I did not want to associate myself with him. He wound up following me and Eric off of the bus. He started harassing us, and we were forced to defend ourselves. He's made threats against me and Eric, even though we go out of our way to leave him alone. He's threatened our friends and our families. I honestly have no idea why he's taken such an unhealthy obsession with me, other than that he somehow thinks he can get away with whatever he's doing. As I keep saying in this video, I want nothing to do with the person I call Dogboy. I refuse to use his real name in any video anymore. This is partially due to me wanting to distance myself from him, and partially due to me losing whatever minute amount of respect that I initially had for him. Also, on top of that, they've used so many different names on Facebook that it makes it difficult for me to call this person by their real name, even if I did want to refer to them by their real name. I'm not saying that I had respect for Dogboy before he started acting here. In fact, I want to say that I had no respect for him before he started acting out towards me. And somehow, I have even less respect for him now that he's acted than I did before my first encounter with him. Which is surprising because the amount of respect that I had for him before was literally nil. The level of respect that I had for him was non-existent before I met him. And the amount of respect that I have for him now has somehow gone down from there. I also want to clarify that, for the most part, respect will get a person far in life. The thing about that is the inverse is also true. If you're disrespectful towards everyone else, it will hold you back. If you're as disrespectful as Dogboy, eventually it'll get you hospitalized. I may not act against him, but some other person will. And this action will end in one of two results. The person I'm talking about in this video contacted me over Facebook using a new Facebook page that he did not have before. Dogboy has tried contacting me before via Facebook, always using new accounts in an attempt to befriend me. He is the one who reaches out to me every time. I always tell him to leave me alone, and I block him. The reason this wasn't included before is because this has happened so many times in the past that I cannot remember any specific details, other than a few details that were consistent every time he reached out. Every time he reached out, it was from a new account. Every time he reaches out, he starts threatening me. I then tell him to leave me alone. Once he starts threatening me again, I report the account that he's using, and either he blocks me or I block him. Then the process repeats again in a few months after that interaction with a brand new Facebook account. This specific event that I'm referring to happened the night of January 15th and the morning of January 16th. He reached out to me, and I told him to leave me alone, as I do every time. He then started messaging me. He told me that he was going to kill me, he told me where I was going to live, and he started telling me about all the weapons that he was going to use to kill me. I spent about 2 hours waiting for the police that night. And I gave all the information that I had, including the screenshot of him threatening to kill me and the screenshot of the message where he gave my address. I also shared all of the messages that he sent showing me all the weapons that he claimed he had. Now, I'm going out of my way to not talk to him. I do not reach out to him at all. I tell him to leave me alone. I've already been forced to defend myself against him before, and he's gotten it through his head that I want to talk to him, even though I have told him that I want nothing to do with him. I initially started talking about this on my vlogging channel. I stopped talking about this topic in those videos because this is starting to happen so often that I could make a series about it. And I did not want to bring down that channel with these videos. The reason I continue to bring this up in my videos is for several reasons. Firstly, it's annoying for me. I know it's annoying for all of you, and it's just as annoying for me. I don't like talking about this issue. I continue talking about this because this is something that is happening in my life, and I want to be as open as possible with all of my subscribers. The second reason I'm talking about this issue is because I want to show the progression of how this is handled. I also want to have a record of what is happening just in case something does happen with this issue. Thirdly, I want to use my actions as a way to show either what to do or what not to do. I do not know how I will be forced to respond to this recurring issue, but I do feel as if this is a good display of how not to act towards people. All I can hope is that this person eventually will stop acting this way, as I am tired of being forced to deal with this issue. I try to keep to myself because I do not enjoy dealing with drama like this. Although I consider myself to be a generally friendly person, I do not go around talking to people unless they approach me. I generally try to be a bit more solitary because things like this always seem to happen a bit more often than what I show in the videos. Now, almost immediately after that happened, there are a few more things that happened that I would like to cover. These are things that had no bearing on what I had mentioned before with Dogboy, but I just think it's kind of ironic that this kind of thing happened immediately after what happened with Dogboy. First, another tenant of my apartment was using the public computer room in my apartment. Out of nowhere, he freaks out, grabs one of the computer monitors that is in my apartment's computer room, and tries throwing it across the room. This is a person who has done things similar to this in the past, with the exception of him trying to throw the computer monitor across the room. The most memorable things that he's done is that he's tried slamming the computer's mouse on the table, and he's threatened me because he kept himself logged into the computer and I logged him out. On the night of January 16th, 2022, someone who used to live in the apartment wound up coming into the apartment where I live and harassing another tenant who lived on my floor. The only reason I know about this is the fact that I saw the police escorting him out of the building when I left my apartment to go to the vending machines that are also located in my building. I wasn't trying to stick my nose in the business of other people here. In fact, I try to keep to myself regardless of the situation. The only reason I know about this is because I happen to be going to the vending machines that are located in the basement of my building when the cops were escorting this other person out of the building. The reason this concerns me is because the apartment where I live has a rule where every person who is not a tenant of the building must be escorted around the building by a tenant who lives there. They try to enforce this by having a security posting in the main entrance of the building. This person wound up making it past the security desk and made it up the elevator to my floor to harass another tenant. That means that although there's a security person at the front door, there's still a chance that somebody would make it up to my apartment to harass me. I'm sure some of you may be asking whether or not I feel safe living where I do. Although the amount of issues has steadily increased since I moved in here, at this point I do still feel safe living where I am. I just wish that these issues did not happen. Having said that, I understand that these issues do happen in bigger cities like Minneapolis. I may not want stuff like this to happen, but it does happen regardless of whether I want it to happen or not. Unfortunately, bigger cities like this do have a lot of crime that gets reported. And there's also a lot of people who think the same way Dogboy thinks. Now, it's been somewhere between 6 and 7 years since my first interaction with Dogboy. And although he's made threats, he hasn't acted yet. Having said that, complacency is still something that would cause me to get hurt in the future. Just because he hasn't acted yet, it does not mean that he won't act in the future. If I'm going to stop this before he does something, I now feel like I have to take an active approach in stopping whatever he does. I need to focus on not starting anything and not instigating anything. But I do also need to take an active approach to finishing this since Dogboy still insists on bothering me. I do not intend to act in the way that Dogboy wants me to act. In fact, I probably should not even be making this video about Dogboy. I think the reason that he's bothering me this much is because I give him the attention that he never got as a child. He acts this way to look for attention. I've seen it a lot with bullies, and I see it a lot with mentally ill people. Now, whether he's a bully or not, I want to say that this sort of behavior is not acceptable for anybody. Not one person should act the way Dogboy acts. Regardless of the situation here, I am simply saying that this event happened. I did manage to call the cops, and they came out to take a report. I also have screenshots of the messages that were sent. Since becoming homeless over 6 years ago, I've had countless run-ins with the person that I will call Dogboy. He has made multiple threats against me, multiple threats against my friends and family, and he has proven that he has the capability to act on those threats even if he does not act. As I said at the beginning of the video, I want nothing to do with him because of all the threats and because of his unhealthy obsession with me. Also, I want to repeat something that I said at the beginning of the video. I'm tired of talking about Dogboy. I'm sure the people who watch my videos on a regular basis are tired of hearing about Dogboy. The reason that I'm making this video is because I want to say that the way Dogboy acts is never something that should be done. There's no respect in the way this person acts. In fact, with the way that this person has been acting, he's lucky I haven't acted on his threats in the past. I'm not saying that as a threat, I'm just saying I was brought up to walk away from actions like this. Even if someone else has been brought up the way that I've been brought up, there's no guarantee that the other person would be as lenient with Dogboy as I am with him. And there's no reason for me to be as lenient as I have been. I'm making this video to say a recommendation here. If you are in a situation like this, find a way to get help. If you're instigating stuff like this, not only should you get help before you make a fool of yourself, I want to say that you should not expect people to be as lenient with you if you threaten them the way that Dogboy has threatened me. Before I end this video, I would like to say a few things first. Initially, I had another video planned for today. The reason I made this video instead is because this happened in my life, and I guess I thought that there was a way to make the video that had some sort of meaning. I also want to clarify that I really do enjoy making videos on YouTube. I really enjoy being able to put myself out there because it forces me to open up to the people who matter in my life. Having said that, I may or may not stop making videos for a while until things die down. If I do wind up taking an abrupt break, chances are it'll probably be due to something like this. People who I do not know and people who I do not want to associate with wind up finding me and harassing me. Until that happens, until I stop making videos, I plan on continuing my release schedules on YouTube. I do legitimately still enjoy making videos for all of you, and it is as enjoyable for me as it is for many of you. Until then, I would like you to subscribe to my channels. I also have a Discord channel that allows you to contact other people as well. And it allows you to talk about other topics as well. My YouTube channels and my Discord channel are all listed in the video description. And I do spend a lot of time on my Discord. Feel free to check all of those out.